Yeah, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Come on along. Welcome aboard. It's kind of Sports Beat coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Friday. And welcome aboard as we have made it through the week and heading to the weekend. Hope it's been a good one for you, and it's a good one coming up as we've got Alec Lasley about to join us here in a little bit, and we've got plenty to talk about. See who all we can scavenge up today. Last night, a great show with Miller Kopp and Tamar Batts. Been looking to sit down with those guys for a while, but if you watch that show, you can, with Miller Kopp, you know what you're getting. I mean, just listening to him talk, he's a veteran. You can see that he's got Alec Lasley joins us now. Hey, Alec, how you doing, brother?
Good, Jim. How are you doing?
Great. I was just talking about last night. We had the opportunity to do a show with Miller Kopp and Tamar Batts, which is great because two very, very different positions coming in, man. And I don't mean on the floor, but I mean one's a freshman in high school and the other one's a KG 3-year starter in the Big Ten. So coming from two very, very different places. And when you listen to Miller Kopp, you hear what you're getting. You know exactly what he brings without shooting a shot. He brings a lot of basketball intelligence, a lot of intelligence, period. Very well spoken and about the game of basketball, understanding the importance of learning the history at Indiana. He took notes from A.J. Guyton. So that's what he's bringing. And I think that is very, very important to any team. I mean, he's bringing from a different school, I think, a solidarity once he gets here from his standpoint.
Absolutely. And I think kind of what you touched on and what he touched on last night and kind of the conversations that I've had with Miller after he obviously decided to join Indiana is it's just a lot more beyond the X's and O's. Obviously, he's going to bring a great skill set to Indiana and what they can do on the floor, but having someone not only who's played in the Big Ten for 3 years, been a very integral part to Northwestern for those 3 seasons, is going to be invaluable to not only the freshmen coming in, but also Xavier Johnson, who's never played in the Big Ten before. Not that the ACC and the Big Ten are super different, but obviously to have just more players who have played in the Big Ten, who have played multiple seasons in the Big Ten, kind of know what to expect, and it's going to be super valuable for everyone coming in because there's so many new pieces. Just if he's not going to be super vocal, which will time will tell if he's going to do that. Obviously, it takes some people more than just a few months to get fully integrated into a new system, but just the experience and some of the lessons that he's learned from playing in the Big Ten is going to be great for everyone involved in that locker room.
Yeah, and just talking about on the side, Tim mentions on the Andy Moore Honda hotline, he liked hearing how Miller Kopp knows how special it is walking out on the floor and then adding the candy stripes to that because I asked him about, he's been there from the Northwestern side, but it's going to be the opposite. Coming out of the other locker room. He knows how special it is. And he talked about his brother almost tearing up when he played for Northwestern here in Assembly Hall. And that was on the other team. So you can imagine what it's going to the emotions that they'll probably be feeling on the other side. Then you got freshmen coming in, Tamar Batts. It's a little different for him. He's coming from an IMG Academy. It's been more of a basketball mindset, for lack of a better word, a little more business setting. It's pro prep is what they're doing. I mean, I think that's the best way to analogize that, and that's what they're doing. But he has that exact mindset. He talked about coming and getting it done. Talked about he's getting here later, June 12th or so. Not going to have summers, but he says, I'm already prepared. I know my summers are done. He knows he's not a normal kid. He's not going to get summers off anymore. That's over for him. And he acknowledged that. That's a tough thing to do, but a mature thing to do, Alec.
Yeah, exactly. I think you touched on it right there. He seems mature beyond his age. And a lot of that has to do with spending a full year at IMG in that kind of college atmosphere already that you touched on. Obviously, any sort of kind of prep school is going to be a lot different than your local high schools. Not good or bad in any way. It's just totally different, the atmosphere there. And the way that he was kind of able to not only grow up basketball-wise, but just maturity-wise off the floor as well, I think is going to be crucial coming into Indiana next year, already kind of having that college-type feel with IMG. So I think it's a great mixture that Indiana is bringing in of veteran guys who have played in college before, the Big Ten before as well, and then also really talented freshmen who have played on the biggest stages in high school basketball with IMG Academy and Tamar Batts, being able to bring all of that in at once. Already with the team that they have, I think you're just going to be seeing a totally different Indiana basketball than I think what people have been used to over the kind of 5-6 past years that they've just kind of settled into of knowing. And that's going to be special to see, obviously, fans for the first time being able to see this group of players and just see a different mindset, I think, a more a business type approach to the game. And very mature approach to the game that I don't think we've been able to see over the past few seasons.
And not only that, and I agree with exactly everything you said, it is going to be that way a lot deeper on this roster now already, very much deeper. There are going to be guys who just don't play. They're going to be fighting for minutes. You're going to see competition for minutes like you haven't seen in 5 or 6 years. That's the talent depth now. And they've still yet to potentially add another name to this. I know, of course, the big name, no pun intended, waiting to drop his the big guy. If that happens, that would really put kind of a stamp on things, Alec. I mean, a 7-footer to drop in here, to drop into what all the other pieces they have, that pretty much would put a cap on things.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had touched on it ever since Indiana kind of finished and filled up their 13 scholarships that, that probably wasn't going to be the final roster. There's still a long time to go before kids got back on campus and the summer really got going. And there's still going to be another transfer wave that does happen across college basketball here. The semester just ended for a lot of these schools. And as we found out last night, Northwestern is obviously still going until June. They're on a different schedule. So this roster was never set. And I think you see with this staff, they're always trying to go out and better the roster whatever way they can, whether that's, someone who's going to come in and play their role, 10, 12 minutes a game, or and I think that's the biggest difference between this roster this year and what you had the past few years is maybe you had depth the past few seasons, but you didn't have talent depth from 113. And that's exactly what you have right now, regardless of if Indiana brings in and kind of what they do for their 13 scholarship spot. The practices are going to be just like, Sweet 16 type caliber games. It's not only going to help this team so much next year, but just moving forward, the amount of talent that they're going to have now year in and year out on the roster is just so much different. And that's going to be the biggest adjustment for, I think, a lot of these guys who were on the roster last year is not only not having a spot specific for them, but having to come to practice every single day and know that if they don't play up to their best potential, they could not see the floor for a couple games just based off of how much talent and depth Indiana does have.
Your games will be a relief from practice, and that's how it is in good programs. you practice all week like hell, and you can't wait till they get to the games because they're easier. It's easier to play in the games than it is your practices. When you're in that program, you are in a winning program. Like Alec is exactly, that's a great point, Alec. They haven't had that. The top guys have not gotten pushed. There's not, and when you don't have that, when you don't have a belief that you have to fight for your spot, you really can't get better, or you don't get better, it seems. And so that is not the case now. Every spot could be up for grabs. And I mean every spot if another piece were to drop. It's incredible, but you have Trace Jackson Davis, the leading returning scorer in the Big Ten, big man, as a centerpiece. Indiana, one of the things I've said to fans, and I mentioned this, I think it was yesterday, is they need to temper their expectations. Don't, because everybody's, oh man, Indiana's going to win the Big Ten. They're going to be competing for national championships right now. Well, they might compete for the Big Ten next year. I don't know that, but neither does anyone else yet, because while we haven't, Alec just said, haven't known what the Indiana roster is going to be, which is true. What's the Michigan roster going to be? What's the Illinois roster going to be? Iowa, on down the line. Very, very few teams are completely set, minus, say, Purdue or things like that. We don't know what the Big Ten is going to be like. Did we know the Big Ten was going to be like it was last year? Nope. So I'm not sure how it's going to be, but I think regardless, Indiana has now put themselves in a position that they may have moved up to, they should be competing in the top quarter of this league regardless right now.
Yeah, and just like you said, you kind of have to temper expectations considering Woodson has yet to coach a single second of college basketball. So it's all you can obviously get recruits, get the big name guys to come back to school for an extra year. But that's not going to do anyone any good if you get the same result as the past few seasons. So it's all about the product that you put on the floor, game in and game out. And I think now you can raise the expectations a little bit from probably what they were just a short 45 days ago. But at the same time, you still have to realize this is still a very competitive league from top to bottom. It's probably going to be one of the best leagues again across the entire country, just like it has been for most of the past 4 or 5 seasons. But you still need to win games. You still need to go out there and be able to show that you can win games. And that's something that we haven't seen from Mike Woodson yet. So while all of this is great to have this buzz around the Indiana program, still going to have to wait until November and December. And then obviously once Big Ten play starts at the January, February portion of the season to really get a feel of what this Indiana program is not only going to do this year, but moving forward with Mike Woodson.
Absolutely. We got to take a quick break. Alec Lasley sitting in right now. We'll come back, talk some more. The basketball schedule for the Big Ten came out yesterday. We'll talk about that and a lot more. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios, brought to you by Cheryl Sizemore and Remax Realty and Andy Moore Honda. Back right after this. Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking for a new or nothing about the schedule really seemed to stand out. Maryland, Minnesota. I think they got a break with the schedule, personally.
Yeah, 100%.
Gee whiz. Maryland, Minnesota, Nebraska, Penn State. Those are their doubles.
The biggest thing is you only play Michigan, Illinois once, both at home.
And that, yes,
it's gigantic. Northwestern is away, one of the only 3 away only games. Michigan State is what it is, and then Iowa is going to be down from what they were the past 2 seasons, and that's. And
I don't know if Michigan State's not going to be down.
Well, no, exactly, and that's the point. I mean, Michigan State's going to be what they are regardless, but I think you look at Northwestern and Iowa, and you're definitely not. Look what Indiana did to Iowa this past year. So it's not to say that those 2 games aren't, or all of those away games aren't totally winnable. And then the home and away is nothing to be too worried about.
What is the What is the non-con schedule? Is it? I know it's not out. But...
Nothing besides. I think this is the last year for. I believe the last year that Indiana is scheduled to play in the Crossroads Classic. So it'll be interesting to see. I know even Archie was talking about it last year that they were potentially looking to move away from that because it really doesn't benefit them. So it's
nothing. That can only hurt them. That game does nothing to help them. Beating Notre Dame doesn't do jack. Beating Butler does nothing. Losing to Butler hurts.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I think, and that was part of that Archie said towards the kind of middle part of last year when he was talking about getting away from Crossroads Classic just because it wasn't going to be much of a help for him, regardless of what happened.
Coming back. Friends, or on the golf course, Sam's Restaurants has multiple locations and something for everyone. Sam's Restaurant in Fishers has homemade coffee cakes and much more. Sam's Place in Broad Ripple has wings, tender steaks, and seafood. Sam's Ale House in Carmel and on 86th Street in Indy have a long list of craft beers and all of the right foods to go with. Plan a day on the links at Eagle Point in Bloomington, then stay for dinner at Sam's Clubhouse. Sam's Restaurants, professionals in the art of food and drink. This segment is brought to you by Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Realty, Indy Home Pros.
Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Friday. Alec Lasley sitting with me right now from thehoosier.com. Plenty there to go to and get information-wise. The Big Ten schedule came out yesterday. There's all kinds of – how many articles you guys pumping out a day there? Like a dozen?
Yeah, we're getting close to that. Obviously, a lot to talk about.
Yep, and this is the off season. So crazy. But like I said, the Big Ten schedule came out yesterday. Man, that looks pretty favorable to Indiana at first. I was looking at this schedule. There's nothing hurtful that jumps out at all. And I see a lot of positives on this. And the home and away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They play 7 teams home and away. Of course, Purdue is always one of those. But as you go down that list, Maryland is on that. I think that they could probably be something. But you got Minnesota, Nebraska, Ohio State, but Penn State and Wisconsin. So, man, Illinois and Michigan, they got to play them at home only along with Rutgers. That is gigantic right there. But that's thinking that if Illinois is going to be the team. We don't know. They were kind of gutted, not just with players, but with personnel. Not sure how they're going to be able to respond. Michigan's probably going to be pretty good. So big time, a little advantage there, only playing them at home.
Yeah, and we talked about it there in the break, and I think you look at Illinois and Michigan, just like you touched on, the 2 of the 3 teams that are just one game, and they're both at in Bloomington. Obviously, depends what happens with kind of how that Illinois roster turns out, but regardless, it's going to be one of the probably still the top 5 or 6 top half of the Big Ten. So only to play them once and to have that be on your home court with fans is going to be a major boost for Indiana. And then I think you look at the away teams, and it's Iowa, Michigan State, Northwestern. I think, Northwestern, Iowa, if you have to travel anywhere for an away game to only play them once, Iowa, Northwestern, obviously 2 teams that probably aren't going to be in the top half of the Big Ten. So, you look at those 2 and feel pretty good about what you could get there. And then Michigan State probably going to be a little bit of a down year again, just from what they lost last year and still having to kind of integrate a lot of freshmen who are supposed to play big roles this year. And then, Penn State, Ohio State, Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I mean, those home and away games could pretty much go either way in terms of kind of what Indiana can do. It obviously depends when they're going to play those teams. If it's in the first kind of half of the Big Ten schedule, or more in the back half. But those are all favorable. And then Maryland, Purdue, probably two of the better teams in the Big Ten going into next year. And, the big one is obviously Purdue, regardless of anything. And just being able to win Purdue, no matter where it is going to be the biggest question mark and the biggest game you circle and highlight on Indiana's schedule, conference or non-conference, for next year.
Forrest thinks that the Big Ten was overrated last year. That would, of course, be based off of the results in the NCAA tournament. And I don't know that I agree with that. I agree that they flopped in the tournament. But I think that a part of that has to do with they did not get to play those pre-conference games against different style teams. All they saw was the Big Ten, which was brutal, but you only saw that style of play, and it killed Purdue. I mean, look who they got beat by. Do you think 9 out of 10 times that team beats any other Big Ten team? No. But it was that matchup, and it was really weird. But I don't know that they were overrated, but last year was just a weird year because of COVID, and it started. We saw programs that were historically great, like Duke and Kentucky, all of a sudden just plummet. Of course, I'm sure that had nothing to do with the FBI investigation the previous year and Nike just turning around and walking away, but I'm sure that had nothing to do with that. But it was a weird season. I don't know that the Big Ten was overrated, but I think that they definitely had a horrific showing in the NCAA tournament. But I think that had something that was just really too weird because those teams were good. You tell me Illinois was not a good team? Give me a break.
My biggest thing with the Big Ten, and I've kind of been saying this for the past few seasons now, from top to bottom, they're by far the best conference in college basketball. But I don't look at the top 3-4 teams year in and year out in the Big Ten and say have two teams that could get to a Final Four or win a national championship. And that's all because of style of play. You look at the ACC, regardless of last year, you're always, for the most part, going to have Duke, North Carolina, and Virginia. And those three teams, you look at them year in, year out, and you say they have a pretty good shot of at least getting to a Sweet 16, at least getting to an Elite 8 more oftentimes than not. Big 12, same thing with Kansas, now with Baylor, obviously getting over the hump last year. And the Big Ten just doesn't scare you with that type of style. And that's what the ACC does. That's what the Big 12 does, with quicker teams, smaller teams that can shoot the basketball. And that's not what you get in the Big Ten from top to bottom. And so that's my thing. Regular season, there's not a tougher conference in college basketball than the Big Ten, but that doesn't really matter when you get to the NCAA tournament. And that's why you haven't had a really, outside of that Indiana team that lost to Syracuse and with Tom Crean, that was probably the last really, really, really good Big Ten team that should have won a national championship dating back to 2000 when the last Big Ten national champion was. So that's why they haven't won in 21 years. And that's probably why they're not going to win for another few seasons, is just because of style of play.
Yeah, and I think that's something that is being addressed at Indiana with the new regime. We talked about the new players and the new type of players that are coming in, and with Mike Woodson coming over from the NBA, knowing that these kids want to get to the next level, all of that playing in, you're going to see, I think, Indiana playing a very different style and from the Big Ten. I don't know that they're going to play the Big Ten style. There's no reason to have to force them to play your style. And I think that's what you're going to see from Indiana and Mike Woodson pushing the envelope.
Yeah, and that's why you saw so many big teams lose so early in the NCAA tournaments, because they had to adjust to the other team's style of play. And you never want to be the team having to adjust. And that's what Indiana's been having to do for so long now. And that's what Mike Woodson's trying to come in and fix. And I think you're going to see that right away. You're going to have a lot of bumps in the road. But I think you're going to be coming into the year an Indiana team that is going to really force their opponent to kind of pick what they want to give up, whether it's the transition game, whether it's Trayce Jackson-Davis down low, because I still think this Indiana team is going to be able to score and win in the 50s and 60s. But now you're going to see a different team that can now go up and put 80 points on you without even, blinking. And that's the one difference that this Indiana team is expected to have this season as compared to the last 4 or 5 where, they barely put up 70 points in a game.
Yeah, they were offensively challenged, let's just say. But that will not be the case. Trayce Jackson-Davis, how does he benefit from the new personnel and from this new coaching staff? Obviously, we've heard Mike Woodson talk about Trayce Jackson doing the things that he's not been doing that he needs to do, shooting with, finding his other hand, better free throw shooting, developing the jump shot. We all know the things he needs to do, but I meant as far as on the court and with these other personnel players, how is that going to raise his game?
I mean, it's honestly just going to what that roster looks like around him come game time, right? Because no matter what anyone else on that roster does, Trayce Jackson-Davis is still going to be able to put up 17, 18 points a game and 8, 9 rebounds a game. He did that obviously for the better half of his freshman season at times, and then obviously all of last year. So I'm not too worried about kind of how he gets his. You're going to probably see a more developed jump shooter at times, and that's going to be because of what Mike Woodson's pretty much going to force him to do, and that's going to be step out, take the shot. If you miss it, okay, but you need to at least provide something else than just outside of 3-5 feet. And that's going to be the biggest step for him. And not so much just confidence in making the shot, but confidence in taking it, because I think you're still going to see an Indiana team that's going to be able to rebound the basketball from multiple different spots, even more in the backcourt than what Indiana fans are used to over the past few years. So even if you bring Trayce Jackson-Davis out, who's the best rebounder on the team, you're still going to have guards who are pretty much going to be able to pick up some of that slack, because you're also going to be drawing out more oftentimes than not, the bigger defender for the opposing team. So I think learning how to deal with missed shots is going to be the one thing I'm looking for Trayce Jackson-Davis to build on, because at times last year you would see him get very frustrated when he would miss some shots and start things. He doesn't need to fix anything, especially with this roster this coming year. So it's about how he's going to deal with some of those misses and not really knock down his confidence too much.
And Tamar Batts, we haven't talked about him. He jumped up, 27, 28 spots in the new Rivals 150. He's in the top 30 now, just short of being a 5-star. It doesn't really matter. He's already here, but it's just something to talk about. But that's, the highest rated recruit since Romeo, or I can't remember what Trayce Jackson-Davis was, but I think he's the highest since Romeo, I would think, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what Trayce finished in the Rivals. They were right there, neck and neck. I think he may have Trayce by 1 or 2 spots, or Trayce may have him by 1 or 2, but almost the exact same when you look at those rankings. And I think it's going to be super exciting for Indiana fans to see what Tamar Batts in an Indiana uniform. Just the athleticism that he has, the overall skill set that he has, and what he can bring. We talked about it earlier, just the maturity he has for such a young age already, and that kind of competitive nature that you need from a backcourt player who's really going to kind of be the engine of that team. I would not be surprised as a freshman if he's into some of these older guys' faces in practice. Just that's who he is. And I think, again, that goes back to that competitive nature that the Indiana team has been lacking. And so if you get that from a freshman, not only just a freshman period, but a freshman who's as talented as he is, that confidence that he's going to basically ooze out to the rest of the team is going to be picked up pretty easily from 13 all the way up to 1 on the depth chart. And I think his impact is going to be felt even if you don't see it right away in the box score. But I think come the end of the year, if not earlier, he's going to be one of the best players on the Indiana roster next year.
Yeah, and that's saying something, being a freshman. And speaking of that, last year's freshmen, Leo and Geronimo, of course, Trey Galloway and Christian Lander. Christian Lander, we expect to continue to gain knowledge from these guys coming in. Where is Leo and Galloway? Where are they going to fit in? Is this a great time for them to learn? Which last year would have been a great time for that, but this is going to be their sophomore year. They're going to have to learn quick. Minutes are going to be at a premium, so those guys are going to have to battle and battle hard.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see with Mike Woodson, you're going to see very specific roles for everyone on the team, and I think you're going to see that very early on. And they could change throughout the season, just like roles tend to change periodically in the NBA. And I think that's going to be the biggest adjustment for a lot of these guys. And I think that's why the group that you have now is all in on not only what they expect from themselves, but what they expect from the coaching staff. And there's a lot of transparency going on between the coaches and the players, which I know that both sides appreciate, because at the end of the day, you're only going to be as successful as not only your best player, but your 13th best player and how they hold themselves accountable. And there's no way to do that unless they clearly know what their specific role is. So I think you're going to see Anthony Leal and Trey Galloway with very, very specific roles. We already know that for Anthony Leal. That's come in and shoot the ball. That's come in and not only shoot it, but make the shots. And then Trey Galloway, I think you're going to look at just a guy who can do a little bit of everything, but in there to be defensive, physical stopper. And I think those are the two roles that you're going to see most. I don't think they're going to play huge minutes. But then again, if you're having those two guys play any sort of minutes and contribute, that's something that a lot of other teams probably aren't going to get out of their maybe 9th or 10th players on the roster. And so I would take those 9 or 10 guys over, a lot of 9th or 10th players on depth charts around the country.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's going to change from what fans have seen in the years past here. You're going to see a lot of different combinations. That's another thing. I doubt you're going to see the same exact starting lineup every game. You're going to not see the same exact starting lineup from front to back. There will be changes. There will be whoever's playing well. It could be a different matchup. There are different reasons to do different things, and you will see that now. It's the old let's do everything the same definition of insanity deal is gone. So I know a lot of fans are looking forward to that, and it's going to be an exciting brand. It's really exciting, talking to those guys last night, especially Miller, who is aware of that. But first of all, you got to talk about the possibility of fans being back in Assembly Hall next year. That is gigantic. And to come back with this team, very big, very important. It's better that they probably weren't there last year, to be honest with you. It's not sad, but that's the truth. And it's great that this is the year that they will get to come back. That could be just huge.
Yeah, especially when you look at kind of the responsibility that Mike Woodson's kind of putting on his shoulders to really bring this program back. He's putting a lot of responsibility on himself to do that because he has so much pride in what Indiana basketball is, not only to university, to college basketball, to the entire state. And I think having fans back for his first year with this team, like you said, is there's already so much buzz going on. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when Indiana starts to really put college basketball back on the map and really see some of these big-time Big Ten matchups that we're used to between not only top 25 teams, but top 2 or 3 teams in the Big Ten competing for Big Ten title in Assembly Hall. That's what Indiana basketball should be. That's what it's been missing. And I think Mike Woodson knows that, and he's going to be ready to have these guys ready more importantly than anything else.
Yep, Alec, appreciate it, brother. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the continued coverage from the Hoosier.com. Doing a great job over there. That's where you need to go for complete coverage. As a matter of fact, you guys have a special right now, free premium content for the summer, I believe.
Yep, through the end of May. If you sign up through the end of May, you get 3 free months of all premium content through the rest of the summer.
Boom. Go to the Hoosier.com. Great guys like Alec. They're taking care of it. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Have a great one.
You too, man. We've got plenty more to talk about coming back here from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, and we're going to do it right after this on this Friday.
Whether you're looking for a relaxing night with a family,
Yeah, I didn't think about it quick enough, daggone it. Good luck. Damn it, I was trying to get Yeagling on. That would have been awesome.
Oh, man.
Gosh,
What about like Laskowski or somebody like that?
Mm.
And I didn't want to send too many messages out at once in case, everybody responded.
But that's what you got to do. Yeah, I run into that problem all the time.
What about Christian Watford, someone like that?
Yeah,
Have you had him on
I'm going through my list right now. I need a clip from Tamar Batts too. I meant to get that. I don't have that.
Do you know which one? So if you tell me, I can do it while we're.
Nope. That's what I'm saying. Any clip would be fine from him.
Okay. When this segment gets going, I'll dive in. I think I know which one I can grab and get it in here if you need it. I'll let you know when I have it ready. But if you want the Miller Cop one, you've got that one already at your disposal.
Yes, I know.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring this back.
Whether you're looking for a new or a used vehicle, Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington's got you covered. They're Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. For deals like this, how about a new 2020 Honda Civic LX front-wheel drive lease for just $180 a month? Or a new 2021 Honda Accord LX front-wheel drive lease for just $270 a month. Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
this segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Hope your day is going well. Hope your week went well. And ready for the weekend. I am, but it's still got a lot of running to do. Wanted to say a very, very happy 18th birthday to my daughter Kylie. Happy birthday. It is hard to believe beyond belief that day is here. Soccer all weekend with her. So that's more going on with that. Graduation next week. Man, hard to believe, but it is here. As is the Friday, and that's always great. Lots going on. How about Indiana soccer? Going for a 9th national championship. Baseball is in Michigan. They are leading the Big Ten. That is going to be a pivotal series for baseball, big time, because Michigan is usually the matchup that helps determine whether Indiana is going to get a title or not. A couple of years ago when they won the Big Ten, that's what it came down to. These are two of the top 3 teams in the conference now. It's a 3-game road series. But last time they went up there, I think they took 2 of 3 from them. They've got a half-game lead over second place Nebraska right now, and a 1-game lead over Michigan. So the lead could change hands and stay the same. It's going to be there's an upcoming 3-game series, crucial for both teams. IU has to they need to increase their lead, and Michigan can obviously knock Indiana from first place. So we'll see how that goes. But it's coming down. Indiana trying to get into the NCAA tournament. They're ranked 14th in the nation right now by a perfect game, 21 by Baseball America, and D1 Baseball has them number 23 in the USA Today coaches poll, number 27 in another poll. So they look to be in the NCAA right now, the way things are going. Pitching staff has been doing a great job. Gabe Bierman, the ace of the staff, I think he still leads the Big Ten in ERA. He'll get a 2.26 ERA, 62 strikeouts. There you go. Gabe's having a great year. Good for him. Men's soccer tonight. That game is late, I believe. 8? Is it like at 8 o'clock? It's. I'm trying to remember. I can't pull it up right now. I'm trying to find that, but I think that is a late game tonight against Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh is probably is without a doubt. They may be the best team in the tournament, along with Indiana. They're number 2. But listen to the scores that they've won by. They defeated Monmouth 6-1 in the second round. They shut out UCF 4-0 in the third round. And they shut out number 7 Washington 3-0 in the quarterfinals. So they've 13-1 goals just in this NCAA tournament. Meanwhile, Indiana won on PKs. They won. But that's what I like to see. I'm like, man, this is going to be a defensive battle. Indiana does not give up goals. They have Roman Celentano, probably gives up the fewest goals per year. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. Cannot wait to watch that game tonight. Looking forward to see what happens. I just have a good feeling about Indiana, even though that they're struggling to get there. If they find ways to win, who knows? I wish them luck and hopefully bring that 9th one home. But you got to start tonight by getting that one over Pitt in that match. Looking forward to that. I'm trying to see. There we go. Kickoff is scheduled for tonight at 8:30. The match will be on ESPNU. So there you go. Looking forward to that. So happy to see that. Tamar Batts, we got to speak with him last night along with Miller Kopp. It was very interesting to talk to both of those guys. They're both anxious to get to Indiana. There's no question about that. They are ready to get here and get started. They're on different schedules. Both still in school, which I just didn't realize. It didn't dawn on me, but both are still finishing school. Tamar's still finishing high school, and it's not like a high school. It's more like college. And Miller, the same thing. And let me tell you, I did not realize the difficulty of Charlie Miller was on with us last night too. Having guests with a first name Miller and a last name Miller, that was not fun. Every time you're thinking every time you talk. But Tamar Batts, let's listen to him. We had a clip from him, and well-spoken freshman coming in. You can tell he's been in an environment. He's ready to get busy. He's looking at this as a business opportunity, and that's good. That means he has got his mind right. But let's hear from Tamar Batts from last night.
There is a ton of history, and I know that, Tamar, that's tougher for someone like you because you're coming in from the total outside. Miller's in the Big Ten, so he's got some familiarity. But what knowledge of Indiana, the Big Ten, did you have before they started recruiting you? How much more have you added to that since you've committed to Indiana?
Years ago, I would watch. I watched Yogi Ferrell throughout his whole career. Victor Oladipo got what's his name? Boston.
Oh, Romeo Langford.
Langford. Like, I mean, so like, I know about all those guys, and like, I saw like how Assembly Hall can get, and then prior to that, just how like Indiana basketball was basically like king, like in the '80s. So I mean, it's like, so I'm like over deeper into it. I mean, I'm like starting to realize like how much it means to like put that jersey on, and like in terms of like what we look to accomplish this year, I just see it as like another challenge that needs to be like checked off.
There was Tamar Batts, and I asked him about Indiana, and because he's a guy that younger kid, so he knew some of the later players you heard: Yogi Ferrell, forward, Victor, Romeo Langford. So, and that shows though how important, even though Romeo Langford wasn't here for long, it still makes an impact on the kids because he's in the NBA. That's all that they see. That's what they see. That's where they want to get. So, also Miller Kopp, we obviously spoke with him, but he, being a veteran, he started for 3 years at Northwestern. He wasn't sitting on the bench. You're at Northwestern. You're a smart kid to begin with. So he's got 3 years of veteran experience. Let's hear what Miller had to say last night.
Yeah, no, I think of it as it's just kind of like ready to erupt. A place that I'm still learning the history and learning the tradition and culture. I was talking with AJ Guyton a while ago, and he was just telling me one of the things. I mean, I have them written down right here. A couple of the things, some of his advice, and one of them was learn the history and learn, about the teams under Bob Knight, the national championship teams, the teams that struggled. Everything that I can, just so going into Indiana, I have a better sense of what Indiana basketball is all about.
So there's Miller Kopp, obviously a little more in tune, but of course he's played against Indiana as well. He's come out of that tunnel on the other end, of course, but he has a sense of, even though it was been in the last few years, he still has a sense of that history, of those banners hanging up there, playing in here, what it's like. Everybody does. So looking forward to that. But just looking forward, like I said earlier, fans. How about having fans back? That is going to be incredible. And just having them back, they're going to go berserk. Going to go berserk. And we talked about something the other day that reminds me. They need to reconfigure the student seating at IU games. It would change the atmosphere immensely. And I think it's time for some change. It would make it a more festive looking atmosphere. It would make it a louder atmosphere. I would like to see more students, but it's about the fat cat donors, I know. But, Indiana has the largest student section. Don't get that wrong. But they also have a larger gym than most other college teams. So you've got them all squeezed into one little area, though. One section that goes straight up. They're not taking advantage of that. What good does it do you to have the 70, 80-year-old people sitting down all around the closest seats? That doesn't do you any good. But that's a different deal. Then there's the jerseys. I am so sick and tired of seeing that. And the funny thing is the arguments that people put up. When you just put the question up, I couldn't care less now. I've gotten to the point where I really couldn't give a rat's butt less about the names on the back of the freaking jerseys. The funny thing is, it's all these blue hairs, gray hairs, whatever, no hairs. No, it's tradition. What tradition? It's not a tradition. It's only a tradition because you just haven't done it. It's not a tradition. It's being made out to be one, but it's not. It's just not. It just hasn't happened. Show me where it's a tradition. Show me where it's written. It's not. So, but and the fact that it has any bearing on how you play, everybody that says that, none of those people are athletes. None of those people have ever played a sport in their life. None. If you are saying that, you have never played a sport in your life, because it makes no damn bit of difference what is on your jersey on the back. Whether or not, if it does, you've got other issues. But I don't care. I don't think that they should for other reasons. My reasons are, I just don't think it is a good look. I think just because the uniform looks good the way it is, and that it's only a limited number of people, so you know who they are. If you're watching the games, you already know who they are, so it's just not necessary. But I don't have this crazy reasoning by like everyone else. If you were to go on Facebook, but that's where you would see all that, because that's where the wealth of unknowledge is. And it's just funny. Last year, there was the uproar of football. They took the names off the jerseys. Well, by God, you're playing for the name on the front and blah, 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 blah. Well, how long did that last? Even Fred Glass had to cave in because it doesn't work. Tradition, my butt. But names on there or not, I couldn't care less. Who cares? Who cares? Is that really what you have to complain about? Are you serious? How about winning? How about hanging banners? You really want to sit there and complain about names? Man, get something else to complain about. Seriously, that's just unbelievable. But it's not going to happen, so it doesn't matter. Well, you say that. Who knows? Never say never. The name, image, likeness is changing things, for sure. But I'm in the camp of no names, but it's not for the reason everybody else is. But I don't care. If they did, it's not going to change my life one bit. I'm not going to give any thought to it. Oh, okay, well, they're changing. Well, they are. Boom. I don't care. Couldn't care less. Let's see. Let's hit the comments. Jennifer's excited for soccer tonight at 8:30 p.m. on ESPNU. Yeah, I am too. I'm looking forward to that. Tony wants him to hang a banner. Yeah. 2 rows behind the bench reserved for IU basketball alumni or for coach. Well, yeah. Talking about the seats in Assembly Hall. And Assembly Hall, man, I got to be honest with you, it's not a great place to watch a game. If you're 46 rows or higher, you're screwed. And that's just the truth. It sucks. It sucks. It's probably the worst place to watch a game that I have ever been in personally, like when I was a student. Well, hell, even now, media seating way up. But it's a unique venue. They hold. Now, Tom is getting excited there. What's wrong with tradition? What tradition, Tim? What's the tradition? That's what I keep saying. There is no tradition. It's made up. It's not a damn tradition. It's just people claiming onto something that's not there. It just hasn't been done. If it's such a tradition, why do you have names on football jerseys? Oh, well, tradition be damned all of a sudden when it needs to be. That's funny. It's because it's not a tradition. It just hasn't happened. Stop with it. There's nothing wrong with tradition if there is one, but it's not. But yeah, I just get fired up over stupid stuff. And to me, that's stupid stuff. It's stupid. I'm all about tradition when it's a real tradition. That's just stupid, in my personal opinion. But David is not a big soccer fan, but he's all for IU sports to be on top. He's a Hoosier. Man, you know what? I was not a soccer fan before my daughter started playing. I got to be honest with you. But I took her to a pro game, like the Indy 11. Man, that changed my whole outlook. Watching those guys, the level of their athletic ability, the speed at which that game was played, a whole new outlook for it. And I enjoy a good soccer game match. I enjoy watching Indiana, and I will enjoy watching them go for the national championship tonight. But I don't sit around and watch soccer. I can promise you that. What Jesse asked, hey, Jim, what would your choice be if you had to give up, put names on the jerseys or give up the candy stripes? Oh, well, that is a tradition started by Bob Knight, though. That has not been going on since the dawn of time. But the candy stripes, that is a tradition. Indiana's known for the candy stripes. Miller Kopp mentioned it last night. He did not mention anything about names on the jerseys, whether they are or not. There was no mention of that because nobody cares. They don't care if they are. They don't care if they aren't. The only people that care are these old fans who just get all up in a roar over something that's not really a tradition. It just hasn't been done. But so, no, I didn't say there were no traditions. I said that's not a tradition. It just hasn't been done. I'm all for real traditions. See, Tony says, prefer no names on the jerseys, but is anyone going to tell me that they add them next year? This team defies all expectations and wins. A six banner, it tarnished it because they had names on their jerseys? Exactly. So next year, let's say they put names on the jerseys and they go out and win a national championship. So you're all just going to be, oh, that sucked because they have names on their jerseys. Exactly. Thank you, Tony. No, just win, man. How about a tradition? How about winning? How about worrying about that tradition? Why are you all worried about the damn names on the jerseys? You're all worried about names more than you are about the tradition of hanging those banners. How about that? Worry about the stuff that matters. Well, we got to hit a break, man. Hey, we're late. We'll be back with more Indiana Sports Beat from the Golf Club Beacon Point Studios right after this. Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking for a new... That's what happens when y'all leave me on here alone, man. Get on tirades and rants.
Starting to sound like Clay Travis.
Well...
I mean that in a joking fashion.
I know. I was going to respond, but I chose not to respond.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, send Zach Osterman the link. He may be able to get free by 10:15. Oh, I'm trying to get Todd Leary and send it to Todd.
Let me see if I have their emails real quick.
Damn it. Why didn't I think of Todd earlier? Son of a bitch.
Is Zach Osterman, is his email Zach Osterman at indystar.com?
Sure.
Well, I'm asking if that's his email address.
Well, I got to go back and look it up, brother. I don't have it handy. I'm 5 steps beyond that trying to find somebody else. You should have that. There should be a list. I don't understand why we don't have these people that have been on multiple times on a effing list that I have told producer after producer to use.
I haven't seen that list since the first week I've been here, but if I can find it, I will.
I'm going to make sure that somebody gets it to you. It's driving me insane.
Let me see if I have Todd Leary. I don't have Leary. I'll see if I think I can find Zach Osterman's just by searching him on Twitter.
Todd is just toddball30@gmail.com. TOD. That's TOD. Yeah.
Oddball30 gmail.com.
Boy, I shouldn't have said that out loud. God damn it.
That's a good point.
And yes, you have Zach's email correct.
Zach Osterman at IndyStar.com. All right, cool.
Nope, there's a dot.
Zach Osterman.
Yes.
Okay. All right, come bring us back.
Ale House in Carmel and on 86th Street in Indy have a long list of craft beers and all of the right foods to go with. Plan a day on the links at Eagle Point in Bloomington, then stay for dinner at Sam's Clubhouse. Sam's Restaurants, professionals in the art of food and drink. This segment is brought to you by Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Realty, Indy Home Pros.
Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. It's Friday and getting ready for the weekend. Waiting for Indiana tonight to play soccer against Pittsburgh in the semifinals of the national championships. Looking forward to them bringing home number 9, man. When is the championship game? Would that be on Monday? That would be cool. Let's see. We were talking about jerseys. I need to get off of that subject. That just is going to go round and round. As we head forward to the weekend, baseball is up in Michigan. What are you guys doing this weekend? I got an 18th birthday and soccer to celebrate. Trying to watch IU and catch up with everything else. Trying to get a little rest would be nice. It has been an extended off season. Things are continuing to move because of the transfer portal. Things continue to happen. Indiana still, they're probably going to be bringing in another name. The big man Durr, we talked earlier with Alec Lasley, is very much a possibility for the Hoosiers. And that would certainly put a nice cap on the personnel turnaround. Stunning turnaround, to be honest. They will have added more talent in that short window than probably Indiana has added in the 4 years prior, collectively. It's close. But the difference is this talent is going to get used. This talent's going to compete against each other. Iron sharpens iron. Alan's headed out to Rough River camping this weekend. Let's get to see his son. He's at Fort Knox. Hey, down there. Congratulations. Jennifer mentions with the new CDC guideline, is IU and Monroe County going to allow fans at the baseball games? I would guess that that's a no, but that's me guessing. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it matters what the CDC or anybody else says. Monroe County is Monroe County. And if you haven't been to Monroe County, I wouldn't come right now. No, I'm kidding. It's a little stringent here. Yeah, it's baseball games. No, I don't think so. But that's a guess. Monroe County has just been weird, man. But who knows? Once it gets warmer, the students are gone now. That would be nice. I'm more concerned with football. Is it going to be 100% capacity? Are they going to require? I don't know. I think masks will not be a problem for football. Basketball, I'm not sure if masks will still be around in Indiana for basketball or not. For 100% capacity. It's hard for me to venture a guess on that because that's not my area of expertise. Tim's heading to Patoka Lake. Gets his wine at the winery. Forrest is on his way to B-Town in 10 days from Georgia. And Jennifer says, so the highest health authority only gets listened to when we are restricting our freedoms. So ridiculous. Well, yeah. Well, lucky you're not. You're in Evansville, so you're wide open down there, man. You're all good to go. And thank you for those listening on the ref, by the way, in Evansville, 97.7. But, yeah, it's getting better. Baseball games will be fun. Indiana is going down to the stretch in this Big Ten race. And, yeah, that would be fun to be able to go out and watch. But how many games do they have left? Indiana baseball. I know that the season is coming to a close. I can't imagine them changing while the season's still going on, to be honest with you. They've got this road trip at Michigan this weekend, a 3-game set. And then on Tuesday, they're at home. Then they're also at home to Nebraska. Ooh, that's an important set. Man, they got a lot of home games coming up. As a matter of fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive games at the Bart from May 18th through May 24th. Wow. Playing a lot of games in a short period of time. 4 straight days. There's 4 games in 4 days, and they play on the 18th. You got a 2-day break, and then they play those 4 games straight against Nebraska, then Ohio State. You talk about the season right there. There it is. Nebraska is, well, right now, they're up in Michigan this weekend. Then they've got to play Nebraska of a 2-game set, which they split 2 with up in Rutgers. Then they have Ohio State coming into Bloomington, which they got swept by the Buckeyes 4 games earlier this season, which really, that's what put Indiana in a hole. If they just split that series, they would be up 2 games right now with a nice cushion. They have to end the season on the road in Maryland, but this homestand coming up, huge. It would be nice if they let fans in. Hell, call out and ask, but I wouldn't think so. That's just my guess. But as of right now, no fans. And I don't see that changes. So there's that. So that's plenty to do. What are you guys doing? I'm like I said, I'm traveling all weekend. Was listening to the Cardinals last night on the ref as I was driving through Evansville. That was nice. Don't have the opportunity to do that very often. Listening to baseball on radio. But I enjoy getting to do that, as always. And it's this baseball season, watching it stretch out. Indiana could be playing baseball way into July, depending on how well they do. I don't know the College World Series is, but this team is in they're not hitting like they have hit in the past, but the pitching has seemed better. Like I said, Mr. Bierman's having an excellent year. He's kind of the ace of the staff. He has really grown up. Talk about going through some tough times, maturing quickly. Gabe has done that and more. And I think he leads the Big Ten in the ERA. And hopefully he continues that. Let's see. Tim is on the south side of Patoka now. Well, good for you, man. Force is going to be playing golf. A lot of that going on. I have not gotten to do that yet. I hope you're getting to have an enjoyable weekend and just do some relaxing. It doesn't seem like a lot of that has happened for a lot of people. There's just been tons of running around still as the school seasons are coming to a close with all the graduations and all that stuff going on. And luckily it's coinciding with more people being vaccinated. Hopefully the numbers are continuing to fall as we get out and do more. Hopefully you get to get out and do more with friends and family. That's what I'm looking forward to doing more of. That's been such a loss that we've happened, that's happened over the last year or so. It's like we've lost an entire year. A little bit of information. I missed this. Ohio State, a massage therapist has been barred from Ohio State's campus and from having any interaction with Ohio State athletics members after an independent investigation found she had engaged in inappropriate and exploitative behavior targeting members of the Buckeyes football team. Exploitative behavior. I'm sorry, not explore, exploitive. The university released a statement and a full report on the investigation, concluding that the massage therapist had no affiliation with the university or its athletics department, and that the school does not believe any NCAA rules were violated. The massage therapist is a 41-year-old woman who lives roughly 2 hours north of campus and obtained her massage therapy license in 2009. In Ohio, she claims to have had clients in the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, NCAA football, blah, blah, blah. An investigation began after a complaint filed in March of 2020 with the State Medical Board of Ohio that alleged a massage licensed therapist was offering free therapeutic massages to members of the Ohio State football team. Huh. You get a tattoo with that? She had been using the massage as a means to initiate sexual interactions with some of the football student athletes and then demanding payment, according to this investigative report. There you go. Wow. Sounds like the old Rick Pitino deal. Got to look out. All right, we got more to talk about when we come back. Indiana Sports Beat coming to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios. Back with more right after this.
Whether you're looking for a relaxing night with a family.
Moly moly. Well, that was a nice little nugget to find. The Olympics is in 2 months.
Yeah, I think it's the Tokyo Olympics, if I'm not mistaken. Never heard back from Todd and Zach, but I did send them an email.
It's 10:17, man.
I know. I'm just letting you know I never heard back.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't hear back from Todd.
Japan only has 2% of the population vaccinated. I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, that's
They're dealing with an emergency right now. That's why I was just how in the world?
Seems like every time they say they're making progress, they're like, "Oh, we found a new variant."
Well, it's probably true. That's what I'm reading about that.
Well, I believe it.
I was reading. There's another story that I've got to read. That's talking about that in baseball.
All right, I'm bringing us back.
Just $180 a month, or a new 2021 Honda Accord LX front-wheel drive lease for just $270 a month. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Hey, don't forget Cooler Masks. CoolerMask.com/ISB radio. They got these. Some other cool IU. Is this upside down? Nope. They got some cool stuff, man. These are licensed IU, and everything is going to go to the Chris Beatty Scholarship Foundation. And they're actually really good masks. I've given them to some people, and they love them because they said they're cooler, they're easier to breathe through. But I'm going to get some LEO ones made. They're going to be cool. But everything goes to the Chris Beatty Scholarship Foundation. These cooler masks are licensed with IU. They're made and manufactured in the United States. They have at least 8 and adding IU Bloomington-themed masks. They're 100% washable, reusable, moisture wicking. They're great. They're actually co-owned by the original founder of Buffalo's. That's kind of cool. Just go to coolermask.com/ISB radio and boom, take care of you. So there's that. Got that out of the way. There's some weird stuff going on do you know the Olympics is 2 months away in Japan, Tokyo, and on Friday they expanded today a coronavirus state of emergency from 6 areas, including Tokyo, to 9, as the Prime Minister Yoshida Suga repeated his determination to hold the Olympics in just over 2 months. Japan has been struggling to slow infections ahead of the games. The 3 editions are Japan's northern island of Hokkaido, where the Olympic marathon will be held, Hiroshima, and Okayama in western Japan. Despite the worsening infections, Suga stressed his commitment to holding the games safely and securely while protecting the Japanese by strictly controlling the movements of foreign participants, including possibly expelling journalists covering the events if they defy regulations. Well, how about your own people, dude? Get them vaccinated. Was it someone just put up there's like a 2% vaccination rate there? It's nuts. That's the second expansion of the emergency in just a week. It's not a good sign. If you're an athlete, that's a little scary. If you're an athlete going over there to compete, it's kind of like going to Brazil, the water issue they had. That was a little crazy. Let's see. A-Rod. He's in a group buying the Minnesota Timberwolves. Does he still own the Marlins? I mean, the Yankees have made him a sports mogul with that contract they gave him. Minnesota Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor has reached a verbal agreement on a $1.5 billion sale of the team to former baseball star Alex Rodriguez and e-commerce mogul Mark Lowry. Sources told ESPN $1.5 billion. I guess that's cheap for a pro franchise these days. But man, how about A-Rod just getting into everything? Lowry and Rodriguez are 50-50 partners. They tried to buy the New York Mets last year, but were beaten out for that deal. I thought he already owned, so maybe he's not. Is he not involved with that group? I thought he was. Did he get out, John? Nothing? Bueller?
Sorry, I was taking care of something else. I actually didn't hear what you said.
I was Alex Rodriguez. I thought he was part owner of the Miami Marlins.
I think that's true. I can't say 100%, but I think that's true.
Well, I can think. I already thought. I was looking for confirmation. But so there's that. And the Yankees. The Yankees are dealing with a COVID problem. Brian Cashman calls it aggressive COVID-19 variant, which is sideline shortstop Gleyber Torres for at least 10 days. The Yankees have confirmed 8 cases of COVID-19 this week, Torres being the first player to test positive over that stretch. The previous 7 cases have been among Yankees coaching and support staffs, including pitching coach and a third base coach and a first base coach. The variant we're dealing with has been pretty aggressive, but thankfully information has been provided is that they've been vaccinated in most cases. But so, yeah, it's still, I think people that's what happens when you get too comfortable. Don't get comfortable yet. Get through it. Yeah, Jeter. That's what I was. Forrest says Jeter's part owner of the Miami Marlins. Rodriguez is still trying to get in there. Yeah. Have I ever covered an Olympics? No, man, close. I was so close one year, and I did not get to. It still hurts, but I got to cover a lot of stuff with CBS, Final Fours, Major League Baseball, which is all cool. A lot of Kentucky Derbies, all that stuff. But no Olympics, man. Great question, Skim Milk. Appreciate you joining us. I don't think I've seen you on here before. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. And Olympics is the peak. I mean, you talk about the greatest of the great, that all they do is train to be the best. I mean, look at Lily King. Training to do nothing but be the best. Speaking of her, I wonder if we can get her on soon. And doing it clean. And standing up against the Russians who she knows are cheating. And trust me, they are cheating. I mean, she called them out. That's funny. But she just works harder and harder. And yeah, we've got some swimmers coming up. Lily King being one of those, but we'll be keeping a close look on that. I doubt we can get to her before the Olympics, but we'll try. See if we can get to her before she leaves for Japan. That would make it even more difficult. NFL front office thinks Tebow signing is a gimmick. Is that a fact, Tim? Or is that a statement? I think it's a gimmick. How the hell do you sign a guy to play a position 10 years after the last game he played that was not his position? I understand that Tim Tebow probably stays in pretty daggone good shape. But pretty good shape is not NFL football shape. Trust me. You have to get in NFL football shape by playing NFL football with other guys. And it's ridiculous. I'm like, come on. Well, I talked about it last week when I first saw it. Give me a break with this. Yeah, I'm over it. Who cares? Let him do whatever he wants to do. But it's just, why? Stop. We got a big weekend coming up. I hope everybody gets to go out and have fun and relax. Let's see if the Indiana Hoosiers can move into position to win a 9th national championship on the pitch in soccer. They're playing Pittsburgh tonight at 8:30. Make sure you catch that on ESPNU. Hey, go back and listen to the interviews with Tamar Batts and Miller Kopp. And man, I hated having Charlie Miller, and then Miller Kopp. That was weird. But Charlie is so great and so great with these guys. And he loved talking to them. He loved giving them advice, and he did give them advice. We talked about the notebooks. You know, if you played for Bob Knight, you have 4 years worth of notebooks. And every player I've ever spoken to still has those notebooks. And that, I don't know if that comes back or not, because Dane Fife was a part of that. Mike Woodson definitely was a part of that. So not sure if that comes back or not, but I would not be surprised. Because every player I've also talked to talked about how valuable that was to them, that they all can still look at those at times. So we'll see. Man, it's been a great day as always. Sorry we missed Verdell today. He is on the road traveling. A lot of people are traveling. You've been stuck with me. My apologies. But a big thanks to Alec Lasley for joining us. And it was great to hear from Tamar Batts and Miller Kopp from last night. Appreciate those guys as well. John, always thanks to you. Another great week, fun week. But most of all, importantly, thanks to everyone listening and watching on YouTube. If you haven't signed up at YouTube, go do that. YouTube.com, Indiana Sports Beat, and hit the notifications. Everything is there. But, man, we're looking forward to getting out and having a fun weekend. Wishing my daughter a happy 18th birthday today. John, what do you got going?
I'll actually be at the track tomorrow at Churchill Downs.
Down in Louisville. What's going on there?
Just a day at the track. I'm going to make some bets, hopefully win some money. So we'll see.
Good luck. I ran into someone last night at the Yogi's that just returned from there. They had a good time down there. So, yeah, that's going on. Looking for something to do. Head down. It's only, like an hour and a half away from Bloomington or wherever you are to Churchill. Good times to go down there. That's going to wrap it up for us. If you're listening on the Ref in Evansville, stick around for Dan Nagurski. Otherwise, go out and have yourselves a great day. Make sure you wear your mask from coolermask.com. Do something nice for somebody. And until Monday, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.